Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So, the specific film I'm reviewing today is called A Safari Romance. This romance set in a real South African safari game reserve can now be seen on the Peacock channel. It's rated TVG because it's a made for TV movie, but also it really is G. It is family friendly. It's an hour and 30 minutes. And my overall movie review mom grade is a B plus. I actually really enjoyed it. So if you're in the mood for kind of an exotic romance, I think you'll get a kick out of it. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and I'll point out things I liked and did not like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that I think you might also like. All right, so you ready to dive in? In a nutshell, the story is about Megan Henry, a down to earth wildlife researcher in Africa. And she is forced to team up with a theme park designer, the handsome Tim Erickson, who wants to create an over the top safari attraction. The film was directed by Leif Bristow and written by his wife, Agnes Bristow. Their daughter, Brittany Bristow, is the leading lady in the movie. Her parents should be so proud of her because I think she's a natural. She did a great job in the film. Let me give you some tips for parents. I think kids are going to be bored by the romance and the drama, but they might enjoy seeing all of the animals, which are very cool and real. There is no profanity and there is alcohol consumed several times, but nobody gets drunk. So, in that regard, I think it is very family friendly. Some of the themes that are illustrated really well are capitalism, ethology, which is the scientific study of animal behavior, and you'll learn a lot about that. Wild animals and conservation, respecting animal life, being open to love and honesty, and then ultimately making room in your life for love. So let me share the long list of things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, the featured couple look great together, are played by Brittany Bristow, as I mentioned, and Andrew W. Walker. Calm down, ladies. He's already married and even has a child. But they looked great. I thought it was a good pair, and there seemed to be some chemistry. I like that. We get to see a lot of beautiful animals in their natural habitat, especially the rare white lion. So that's pretty cool. We also get to experience South Africa and its culture, music, clothing, food, and life. In addition to being on the game reserve in the movie and experience that, we also get to go to an African elementary school and a local market. It all just looks magical. The movie was filmed at Mabula Game Lodge at Ruiberg Road, Rhinosterok, Spruit, in Mabula Private Game Reserve in the Limpopo province. I had to read all of that and I probably didn't pronounce it correctly. Sorry about that. But I would love to go there someday. It looked amazing. Doing an African safari has been on my bucket list for a long time. My parents have gone. My twin sister just recently went a couple of years ago. Well, no, it had to have been more than that because we had COVID and we couldn't travel during then. But anyway, recent enough. So it's on my bucket list. Hope to do it soon. There's this cute little native handshake at the very beginning of the movie that I thought was cute. And I wish that they'd carried that on and we could have seen more people doing that, but whatever. Simone Pretorius makes for a great villain. You just sort of instantly not like her as intended. It's refreshing to see a romance where the couple does not immediately jump into bed. The love story is clean and very sweet. It's also really nice to see an intelligent young woman who is willing to work hard on her goals and not instantly give up her dreams just to be with a guy. We often see that in movies. Women who do that are often very resentful in the end. And so I think she wasn't exactly open to love, but she also didn't just, slobber all over this guy and become a puppy dog or a doormat. We get two romances in this story, not just one, and that's always fun. A lot of life's challenges have to do with timing. Have you noticed that? And while this movie isn't super dramatic, that's the hero's journey in the story. In that regard, it's very realistic, just trying to find the right time for the right stuff. And, and if you meet Mr. Wonderful and it's not the right time, what do you do? And that's the crux of the challenge in this hero's journey. So I could only think of one thing that I didn't like about the movie. And actually, it's not something that I didn't like, but something I wanted to mention. And that is that some people may not like how sugary sweet everyone is. But wouldn't it be a nice world if everybody really was that kind? I think so. And in that regard, it definitely feels like a Hallmark movie where it's just sweet and kind, and romantic. Now, whenever I watch movies, I take notes and I especially write down any funny lines or interesting lines specifically so I can share them with you. And you can get a taste and feel for the dialogue and the script writing and the quality in that sense. And so I'll share a few of them with you. I've got all of them on my moviereviewmom.com website. So you can see everything there. So there's this one line where Brittany Bristow plays Megan Henry, and she's like the park ranger while she's working on her PhD. And, she's beautiful and she's very professional. And anyway, like I said, she does a great job. Anyway, so she's taking out this group of people to go out, in the Jeep and go see wild animals. And then one of the guys is like, well, I want to see the giraffes. And she said, we better get going so we can see the giraffes. They're expecting us, and she's saying that sarcastically because you can't schedule when these wild animals are going to show up. And then there's another line that I just thought was so funny. Somebody says something and she says, that is so yesterday. And then there were a lot of interesting lines that I wrote down. For example, one of the lines is by Kamara, who is this adorable girl who's in training to be a park ranger at the safari. And so she says to the Megan, the cute girl, the love interest, she says, work isn't the only important thing in life, which is true. And it's all about balance, isn't it? And then Tim Erickson plays Andrew Walker, and he's the one that's going there to get inspiration for this big theme park ride that he wants to be based on an African safari. And he says, maybe we just work so much because we haven't found the right person yet. And I thought that was really interesting. And he kept trying to throw these gentle hints out, like, like I'm open to love. And she kept kind of shutting him down, which I thought was interesting. Now, there are quite a few conversations about change. And Tim Erickson, the character again played by Andrew Walker, says, I think most people change over time. And another time he says it's impossible for things to stay the same. And I think those lines are absolutely true. Another character says, follow your heart. It will take you where you need to go. And I would read the name of that character, but I can't pronounce it. Nazizwi, and the actor's not, I apologize. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But anyway, finally, there's another line by Brittany Bristow's character. And she says, there's a lesson in everything that happens in life. And I think if you go into life and challenges with that attitude, that's absolutely true, and it'll get you through those challenges. Now, I wrote down a couple of lines that we hear Megan say all the time. She says, I should, or we should. While she definitely feels a sense of duty and responsibility, I definitely admire that. But we're also seeing how she's closed off to possibilities and options, that she only does what she thinks she should, right? Or that everybody should be doing. In one sense, it makes her inflexible. In the other sense, it really does show how responsible she is and how seriously she takes her job. And again, I think that that's a good quality, even though it did kind of just drive me nuts a little bit. Anyway, let me give you some recommendations for a couple of movies three movies that are sort of similar that you might also enjoy. The first one is called Love in Zion National. Now, I live in Las Vegas, which is pretty close to Zion's National Park, just on the other side of the border in Utah. So if you love seeing these national parks, you'll enjoy this romance just for the scenery. It's really beautiful. The romance is super cheesy, and the movie itself is not that great in terms of romance, But again, if you're all about the scenery, I think that you'll enjoy it. And you can watch my movie review of that one. I did that one recently. Another one is another romance called Let Love Grow, and it's about nature. And since the safari movie also takes place in nature, you might enjoy it. Again, it's super cheesy, predictable, of course. I mean, these all are, but it's cute, and I liked the actors in it. And then another one is called Big Sky River. It is a movie that came out last year, and just now, part two is coming out on streaming. So if you like that story, if you watch the first one, then no, you don't have to wait long at all to catch the second one. You can binge it. The second one seems to be a lot more dramatic and less, I don't know, charming than the first one, but that's just my take on it. But you get to see some beautiful big sky in Montana type of landscapes. All right, that's it. I hope if you watch this movie that you do enjoy it, and I hope my movie reviews are helpful. If they are, subscribe and give it a thumbs up and tell all your friends to come on over. I really appreciate the support. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.